can't stand to see her that way.
I know. We're going to have to work fast if we're going to get Kelly's case reviewed.
I'm going to talk to the judge again, and the DA, and anybody else it takes. I'm going to move her from this hospital and get her another doctor.
You realize that might be tough.
Cruz, you've been wonderful. Thank you.
Let's get out of here. Come on.
Just a minute, Mr. Castillo. I want to talk to you.
What about?
I don't like deceit, particularly from a policeman. I checked with the judge in Kelly's case, and no court order was ever issued. This is a total fraud.
Oh, now that form is legitimate and it's all filled in. It's just not signed, that's all.
What kind of a game are you trying to play? I will not allow you to manipulate me or this institution.
I saw my sister, Dr. Rawlings. I don't like the treatment that's been given to her here.
The treatment I prescribed for Kelly is working, and any reputable psychiatrist would agree. What did harm her, however, was your visit. You just may have done your sister irreparable damage, Miss Campwell.
I don't believe that.
It doesn't matter what you believe. You don't have the qualifications to judge.
How can it possibly be right to keep the girl from her family, Doctor, to isolate her from the people she loves?
All I can tell you is I'm going to make sure my sister is moved elsewhere.
Fine, try. You'll find that there's nothing you can do. Nothing. Get out. Just get out.
Let's straighten this out. The DA here says you used faked papers to get into the hospital today to see Kelly. Is that correct?
Yeah, I filled out some papers. We bluffed our way in to see her.
Oh, Eden.
Daddy, I told you I had to see her.
Cruz, I didn't expect you to get into this.
I wanted to help.
I don't think you know all the trouble you can get in over this. I'm surprised Cruz didn't explain this to you.
Hey, Eden did nothing but ask. I'm the one who forced the issue, and I didn't do anything illegal, all right?
Well, for starters, you misused departmental forms.
Oh, Keith, come on. What is important here? What I did to a piece of paper or what that doctor was doing to Kelly? He's got her so stoned she can barely stand up straight. I don't see how that is going to help her.
Well, now you're an expert in psychiatry?
Mr. C, you should go up there and talk to her. Try to talk to her. You have no idea what kind of shape she's in.
Look, Rawlings called a little while ago. He said you're going there. Caused her a setback.
That's ridiculous. She wanted me there. She didn't want me to leave.
Baby, how do you in the world know what's good for her?
She was begging me to take her away from there. Would she be doing that if everything was all right?
Baby, you don't know about these things.
I saw her. I heard her, Daddy. I'm telling you, she's in a situation where she's dealing with a doctor that's incompetent. I want her case reviewed. I really want that. And I want you to see her because I've seen her and you haven't, and there's something terribly wrong going on up there. I want you to do this for her.
All right, I will. I'll make some inquiries. I'll see what's possible. You know I only want the best care for her.
I know, Daddy.
And I don't want you doing any more of this kind of thing. Get yourselves in trouble, both of you. He was very upset, Rawlings, and he caused a lot of trouble. He's appointed by the court, you know.
Yeah, I know, Daddy. Thank you. And I'll make some calls myself to see if I can do anything, okay?
I'm glad you're willing to help.
Who's willing to help? She's my baby. All right, I got some things to do first, and I'm going to try to go see Kelly. You're my baby, too.
Thanks, Dad.
Come on, Pearl, move it.
I am coming.
I need to talk to you. It's very important. I'll see you at the courthouse.
You got it. Well, I guess I'll be taking off, too, unless the DA is of a mind to press charges.
No, not at the moment. You try something like this again, though, then.
Bless your generous heart. I appreciate the slack. I'll talk to you later, Eden.
Cruz. Thanks for everything. I couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah.
Well, is that it, or do you want to arrest me?
Oh, no. But I would want to talk to you for a moment.
About what?
Santana explained your relationship with Cruz. I'm her friend, and I don't want to see her hurt, you see.
I would never do anything to hurt Santana.
Well, if you are thinking of taking him away from her, I wish you'd do it as quickly as you can. be easier on her. And that's all I have to say.
Can you all take your seats, please? Court's about to reconvene.
Anybody want another cookie? You sure they're really good? Gina, what are you doing?
Isn't it wonderful? I'm finally going to become totally self-sufficient. I won't have to depend on handouts from C.C. Capwell anymore. I'm going to market these.
You're going to sell cookies?
Why not? Not dignified enough for you? Well, there's a whole lot of money to be made in them. Besides, try one. They're fantastic.
No, thanks. I'll take your word for it.
Suit yourself. This is all part of my new positive attitude, way of living. That's right. Eden, I think we can all become masters of our own fate if we work hard enough at it. And if we can find the kind of work we like. Life can be a lot more pleasant if you're doing what you want to do. Don't you think so?
Yeah. Look, I've got to
Wait
go.
a minute. I'm not just talking about in working situations. I'm talking about relationships as well. You and Cruz are a great example. I mean, the two of you are perfect for each other. But you deny your love because it's not socially acceptable. Yet neither one of you are really going to be happy until you admit it to each other, that you really love each other. Am I right?
Look, Gina, I really don't want to discuss this.
I'm on your side, Eden. I would love it if you and Cruz were able to get back together. I realize that there are Santana's feelings to consider and that she's an obstacle. But your love for Cruz is what really counts. And she's not an immovable obstacle. Sooner or later, she's going to have to understand and step out of the picture.
Why are you... Oh, I get it. You want Cruz and I to get involved because it'll give you an easier way to get your son? Is that why you're so interested in my love life?
Well, Santana being divorced and alone is an interesting thought. But I hadn't really considered that.
Like hell you hadn't.
I have here a diary. Do you recognize it?
It's Madeline Lorent's diary.
Your Honor, we ask that this be marked as Defense Exhibit 1 and entered into evidence.
Any objection, Mr. Catwell?
Only that I fail to see what bearing it has on anything, or indeed what it is that's being asked of this witness.
A little patience will solve that.
The date book will be accepted in evidence and marked as requested. Please continue, Miss Wainwright.
Thank you, Your Honor. The date book was kept in a private code. Prior to the commencement of this trial, you were asked to examine that and determine what these entries represented. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Were you able to decode this?
Yeah, there was no problem with that.
There was one particular entry noted several times that you brought to my attention. Would you describe to the court what that entry represented?
It was the letter L, squared. Judge, that's L with a small raised 2 above it. It was a jotting that appeared several times during the course of the date book, during which time Mrs. Laurent was visiting the bungalow. Also, I was able to determine that there were several erasers in that same date book. Now, simply by reading the impressions made by the erasers, anybody could see that L squared was scheduled to meet with a Mrs. L at the approximate time of the fatal attack on her. Objection, Your Honor. This is all irrelevant and immaterial. Some cryptic personal notations. I fail to see any possible...
Your Honor, we're going to establish the relevancy very soon with another witness. Right now, I have no further questions of this witness, and thank you. However, I would like to submit an independent forensic expert's report who ran tests to substantiate the fact that the erasures were indeed made in Madeline's date book as the witness testified. We ask the court that this be entered into evidence as Defense Exhibit 2.
I have the same objection. I fail to see where any of this is leading.
Cross-examination?
No, Your Honor, none.
The witness is excused.
The defense would like to call to the stand the person referred to in Madeline Laurent's diary as L squared. The defense would like the call to the stand Mr. Lionel Lockridge.
Yes. I am L squared, referred to in Madeline's date book.
Mr. Lockridge, how often did you meet with Madeline?
7 or 8 times, maybe?
Always in the bungalow?
No, occasionally in restaurants.
The L square was marked in her date book on the day of her murder at the very time of her attack. Were you with her then?
No.
Do you have proof?
I had an appointment to meet her at about that time, but I arrived a half an hour early and only stayed 5 minutes, and I don't have proof. No. But Madeline was unharmed when I left that apartment.
Mr. Lockwood, what was your reason for the meetings with Madeline?
Business engagement?
Your Honor, I have a note from the deceased to Mr. Lockridge. We ask the court that it be entered into evidence and marked as Defense Exhibit 3.
I object strenuously.
Would you like to see the note, Your Honor?
Please. Yes. Let this be entered as Defense Exhibit 3. Proceed.
This note was dated 1 day before Madeline's murder. Mr. Lockridge, would you be so kind as to read this note to the court?
Lionel, I suggest you meet me at 11 a.m. tomorrow at the bungalow. I'm not happy with the way things are going, and if I'm not made happy soon, it may be necessary for me to expose our whole arrangement. I know what that would do to you, so don't force my hand. Just be there, Madeline.
Your Honor, I object to this note and this entire line of questioning. Counsel is making a desperately transparent attempt to obscure the guilt of the accused by casting dubious suspicion elsewhere. I'm going to let it stand, but I caution you, Miss Wainwright, to keep and confine your questions to this case and your own client's innocence or guilt. Let's not wander about here.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Lockridge, could you tell us, please, the meaning of this note?
Well, I think it's self-explanatory, isn't it? I was conducting business with her, and she wasn't too happy about it.
How close were you to Madeline?
Objection. What does Mr. Lockridge's relationship with the deceased have to do with Mr. Lorett's trial?
Your Honor, the next question will make this very clear.
Objection overruled.
Mr. Lockridge, isn't it true that you were having an affair with Madeline Laurent?
Your Honor! No! Order!
And that you needed the secrecy that the bungalow provided because at that time you were reconciling with your ex-wife who had control of the Lockridge money and you couldn't afford to have her find out about your rendezvous?
Well, we've got the same situation again, don't we? Your Honor, what does Mr. Lockridge's relationship with the deceased have to do with this?
I was not having an affair with Madeline.
Would you wait a minute, Mr. Lockridge? Could we have a ruling, please? I'm going to reserve on this ruling and see where she's going to go with this. Proceed.
Mr. Lockridge, you said you never had an affair with Madeline. Yet you met with her repeatedly in secret. And yet she sent you peremptory notes ordering you to meet with her under threat of exposure. If you had nothing, if you weren't having an affair with her, what was she going to expose?
It had to do with our business arrangement, and I see no need to go into those.
All right. Perhaps you'll answer me this. Did during any of your meetings she bring up anything about her relationship with her husband?
Yes.
And how did she categorize it?
We didn't talk much about her personal affairs, but she never said anything derogatory about it. I did not have an affair with Madeline. We had business meetings, but no affair. I want to make that clear.
And yet you met with her frequently in private. All right, let me see. You saw her on the last day of her life by your own admission, very near the moment that she was killed. And this letter suggests that you may have had the motive to silence her. So, motive, opportunity. Mr. Lockridge, isn't it true that you could have killed Madeline?
Your Honor!
Again! I repeat, I was not having an affair with her, nor did I murder her. And I swear that to this court.
But this isn't necessary, Mr. Lockwood. You're not on trial here. You don't have to defend yourself against a charge of this order. Counselor, I'm going to sustain the earlier continuing objection and put an end to this line of questioning.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Capwell, I'm going to call for a slight recess before you start your cross-examination. I think we can all use it. The court will recess for 20 minutes.
Cruzy, if you don't mind, can I talk to you a second outside?
Yeah.
Pearl, have you seen Cruz out here?
Well, no. As a matter of fact, he just took off. Listen, Edie, I gotta talk to you a second. Would you step over here?
What about?
What about? It's got to do with Dr. Rollins and Kelly and this little institute he's got going. I think I figured out a way I can break in, check out the files, and maybe get some dirt on this guy.
You did?
Yeah. Why don't you join me over here for a second? Don't worry, when it comes to felonious entry, I am a pro.
I hate to tell you this, but in prison there are a lot of pros.
And cons. I'm sorry.
Look, Pearl, I'll catch your act later, okay? Let's just do what we came to do.
Right.
Look at all these files. There's so many. How can we possibly get what we came to get?
I'll tell you what, sweet. I want you to check the files right over there. See, they're labeled current. And I'll look at the ones over here quietly. Older.
Why?
Well, it's just personal business.
Give me that flashlight.
Hurry, get down, quick!
Orderly, someone's broken in.
Now, we gotta move it. Kelly's files is not gonna be enough. I gotta get inside this joint and expose this witch doctor. Come on.
You think you can?
Yo, what? Come on, let's get out of here. Do everything I can.